And there it was. It was the village, the beautiful village with all these mountains and all this beautiful land and beautiful weather and the sunny days. And that's where we lived. That's where everybody gathered at the end of the day to enjoy a meal together and to share stories. We met the family. I met everyone. It was all people that I had never seen before, but they all felt ever closer than ever. So I asked my little cousin, I said, "Hey, do you want to talk to me? Talk to me about you. Talk to me about what you do. Talk to me about your friends and your school and the things you do and how you keep yourself busy, considering what I saw around didn't really tell me enough about what kids did there." So he said, he wanted to start it off with telling me his name. And he said he was Sherala. He had 7 brothers, 2 sisters, and lived in a big family. And he talked to me and told me about things he does in the day and who he hangs out with. And it starts off, of course, in the morning, taking out the cows and taking them around, feeding them grass and feeding them water. And he also mentioned that he stops by the river sometimes and takes a swim himself while the cows are hanging out and walking around. It's a very refreshing thing for him. And him and his cousin climb up the mountains, take the sheep, go around looking for any of their animals that they're missing. And he also talked to me about his sister, his older sister, and he said he was afraid of her. She was a role model to him, and she was a sweetheart herself too. And he looked up to her and followed and did everything she asked him for. And he really showed a lot of respect, which was very sweet. And he talked to me more and told me about the neighborhood. And then he told me about his friends, both of whom are his cousins that come from another part of the village. But that's how they hang out. They walk miles and miles away from each other's house to another person's house just to hang out. And he also pointed at his aunt. He said, "That's my aunt and that's her daughter. I find her annoying." And then he talked to me about his sister and her friends and how they were brats and they always tried to bother the boys in one way or the other. And he said that those were his sister's best friends. Although at times they wished that the little boy didn't really bother them as much. It was better if he wasn't just around and left them alone. It was kind of funny and very cute. And then he told me about his sister's actual best friend and how they preferred to be just the two of them. Things he talked about weren't things that matter, but coming from a kid like that, coming from a kid who has not much to do around him than to just walk around, take the animals around, play in the gardens or play on the fields by the mountains with just his cousins and call that a day. It was all very cute and it was all very touchy. And that was my memory of the village. Well, part of my memory from the village. There's a lot more and a lot more stories they've shared, and I want to share.